The countdown is on, but you're not alone. This is Countdown to College, your weekly guide from Education Quest Foundation, here to help you plan, apply, and pay for college one step at a time. I'm your host, Gage, and today I'm happy to be joined by Jacquie Butler, a senior college planning specialist here at Education Quest. Hi, Jacquie. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, Gage.
Today's episode is all about financial aid. As we all know, the FAFSA will be here before we know it, opening on October 1st. And so our goal today is just to give you guys a basic overview of what financial aid works, or how financial aid works and what it is. So we'll break down, the nitty-gritty more in some future podcast episodes. So stay tuned for those. It's officially FAFSA season here at Education Quest. I'm actually wearing my Do the FAFSA Nebraska shirt.
Wonderful.
Jacquie, let's just go ahead and dive in. So, can you just explain the different types of financial aid that are available?
Sure. So there are four types of financial aid available to college-going students: scholarships, grants, work study, and student loans. So scholarships are unique in that students are filling out separate applications for each scholarship opportunity. There's no blanket application, if you will. So students are seeking out, searching for scholarship opportunities. They're filling out applications, writing essays if required, and getting scholarships submitted on or before the deadlines. Grants, work study, and student loans, there's one application that students and their parents will be filling out to be considered for those types of financial aid. So grants are the type of aid that is considered gift aid. Students do not have to repay grant dollars, and they might qualify it, but it is based on financial need. Work study is a job on campus. So students are earning the money while they are, working those hours. And that money isn't available up front for that first semester when that first semester bill comes due. So that's something that families do need to keep in mind. And then student loans, those are the type of aid that is borrowed and must be repaid. So a student, will begin making payments on student loans once they either completed their education, or if they obviously stop going to college, or if they drop below part-time status, which is 6 credit hour. It's actually under 6 credit hours. So in that situation, if a student is taking less than part-time, they would have to begin making payments on student loans.
I remember being pretty confused when I first got into, my college process of like what all the different financial aids mean. And one analogy I really like for grants specifically is, it's like a present. Like you wouldn't
Mhm.
like repay a family member for like a present you got at Christmas or something. So,
Right.
yeah, that really helped
Right.
kind of,
That's why they call it gift aid.
yep. And so, just for all of these different types of financial aid, can you just walk us through kind of like what the typical timeline looks like, starting with submitting the FAFSA, and then after that, for people who maybe never even gone into this world before, what is the FAFSA? Who should complete it, and when does it open?
Okay, sure. So let's start actually with what is the FAFSA? So the FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It is a form that parents and students are filling out each year to be considered for federal, state, and college-based financial aid. So again, it is a free form to fill out. For the 26-27 FAFSA, so students who will be attending college during the 26-27 academic year, the FAFSA is actually slated to open up this October of 2025. So students are filling it out almost a year in advance of going to college. The FAFSA is actually now a high school graduation requirement for Nebraska students. So all seniors in high school throughout the state of Nebraska need to be filling out the FAFSA form, as well as any college-going students who want to be considered for federal financial aid for the upcoming school year, to help them offset some of those costs. And then lastly, and I almost forgot about this, Students should plan to complete the FAFSA each year that they're going to be attending college. So the FAFSA is good for an entire academic year, so fall, spring, and summer. So you're going to be filling it out each year that you plan to be in college that following school year.
And like I mentioned, we'll do some future podcast episodes getting into the nitty-gritty of filling out the form. But I do want to say, like, especially since I had my FAFSA years, it's gotten so easy. The form is really simple now. It's really intuitive.
They really have simplified it, yes. So it's pretty easy for families to fill out.
And so after completing the FAFSA, what can students expect? What should their next steps be? What should they be looking out for?
So once you hit submit on the FAFSA, in about 3 to 5 days, the student can log back into studentaid.gov and access what's called a FAFSA submission summary. So that FAFSA submission summary lets the student know that their FAFSA application was processed and it was indeed passed on to the college or colleges, if a student listed more than one, that they listed on the FAFSA form itself.
Remind me, Jackie, how many colleges can students list on their FAFSA application again? Do you know that off the top of your
So
head?
they can, yes, actually they can list up to 20 colleges on their FAFSA application.
That's right. I just remember, I wasn't certain on what colleges I wanted to go to yet, so it was kind of nice that I got to list out my options. It
Right.
was pretty helpful.
Yeah, yeah, that is nice. Yes, absolutely.
And now I understand that some students who complete the FAFSA will need to go through an extra like verification step. Can you kind of explain that?
Oh, yes. So if a student is selected for verification, that means that the college is asking for, some documentation of information that was provided on the FAFSA form. The student will not be offered financial aid if they are selected for verification until that verification process has been completed. So students, I always tell families that verification isn't a scary process, but it's an important process. So if a student is selected, they do need to get that information that the college is requesting back to them as soon as possible. And the students are notified of verification. So they need to be watching their student portal for any notifications or any to-dos coming from the college. Read through that and make sure that if they're requesting anything to get it back to the financial aid department.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about how important just watching your inbox is during FAFSA season. Very
Mhm.
important.
Very much so.
And so, how do students know how much financial aid they can expect from each college listed on their FAFSA form?
Okay, so I guess one of the most important things to remember about this is, although we mentioned that you can list up to 20 colleges on the FAFSA, only students that are accepted for admission to the colleges will be offered financial aid. So a student needs to make sure that if they are serious about an institution, a college, they need to make sure that they have applied for admission and that they're accepted. The college will then offer the student financial aid, and that will be posted on their student portal. So students will need to watch their student portal. I usually tell students, get in the habit of watching it, taking a look at it once or twice a week for those communications. They'll want to check their financial aid tab. And that financial aid offer will list the types and amounts of financial aid that they can expect from the college.
Yeah, I would even say like set some reminders on your phone just to remind you to check it a couple times a week.
Right. Just get in that habit and again, they're always notifying you of something, whether it's missing, immunization records or, when it's your time to register for the following semester's classes. So it is important, not just for financial aid purposes, but it's just important that students get in the habit of checking that student portal because it's
Yeah, you
kind of
don't
the communication hub with the college.
yeah, you don't want to be that student that shows up to the first day of class and like half of your paperwork's not even completed yet.
Absolutely not.
And so these families and students will receive their financial aid award letters. How should they interpret these letters, and what should they look for when comparing offers from other colleges that they applied to?
Good question. So the offers of financial aid, could be a combination of scholarships. It could be grants, work study, and student loans. Not all financial aid is created equal, however. So the student will want to compare the amounts that they're being offered, first of all, in scholarships and grants, which is money that does not have to be repaid. So it's free money to the student versus student loans, which is money that is borrowed and does have to be repaid. Um, Also, concerning scholarships, they'll want to consider which scholarships are renewable and which scholarships are one-time offers. So let's say a student is comparing two different colleges. Um, what is being offered by college A might look pretty good initially, but the renewable scholarships being offered by college B, could make that college more affordable in the long run. So they really need to be careful about that. They also need to to keep in mind that work study is in fact a job. So the student's paid bi-weekly. So after they've worked the hours, that money will be paid directly to the student. That money is not going to be available at the beginning of that semester or when that first semester bill comes due. So I tell families, perhaps they consider work study, to pay for a student's personal and transportation, or the student can put it in a bank and use it towards second semester classes. But again, they need to be aware that that work study money isn't available again when that first semester bill comes due. They have to perform the job in order to earn those dollars.
Yeah, I liked your example of, comparing college A and B. We had one of our other college planning specialists, Rachel, on a few episodes ago, and she talked about, creating a pros and cons list and kind of laying out your colleges. And I feel like that would be a good thing to include too, is, take a look at your scholarships. What's the pros to going to this school? Oh, maybe it's not renewable, so maybe it's a con actually. So yeah.
Right, right. So like I said, it's not all financial aid is created equal. So you really kind of have to look into that and see again, what's going to be the best situation in the long run for the student financially.
Shifting lanes a little bit, talking more about student loans. Are there any changes to the loan limits for undergraduate students?
No, so fortunately, borrowing or the annual borrowing loan limits for students has stayed the same. It's unchanged for this school year. So a year one student can borrow a maximum of 5,500 in a student loan. Year two, they would be offered 6,500, and then years three and beyond, it would be 7,500 for each of those years following, with a lifetime loan limit of $31,000 for a dependent undergraduate student.
And I know that's then where maybe sometimes some parent plus loans will come into play.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I know those have gone under some pretty significant changes, including new loan limits. So can you just explain what those changes will look like and how they might impact some of our families?
Gage, you are correct. The Parent Plus loans have undergone a significant change. Beginning July 1st, 2026. So this will pertain to students beginning college in the 26-27 academic year. The Parent Plus loan program limits parents in borrowing. So the maximum that they would be able to borrow is $20,000 per year per student, with a lifetime maximum of $65,000 per student. So under the old rules, parents could borrow up to the cost of education, but that isn't the case going forward. Also, Parent Plus loans taken out after July 1st, 2026 will no longer be eligible for any income-driven repayment plans. They will only have this standard plan, repayment plan that they will be able to use. So that sets repayments between 10 and 25 years, depending upon the total amount of money that the parents have borrowed.
I know this stuff can start to get pretty overwhelming, so I feel like this would be a
Thank
good
you.
good
Mhm.
chance to plug our appointments actually. If you have any like really super specific questions, anyone on our college planning team would be very happy to help you.
Please do give us a call. That's what we're here for, is to answer any questions you might have.
Hmm. Jacquie, I have one final question for you. With
Okay.
so many changes to the financial aid process and federal loans, what's just your best advice for families to stay informed and stay prepared?
So I guess probably my best advice would to be sign up for Countdown to College, which is Education Quest's weekly email that we send out. And also follow us on social media. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. And we give out a lot, or we post a lot of important information for students and parents, to follow. So will help families navigate the college going process, the college funding process, and fortunately, all of our services are free. So I certainly encourage you to utilize all of our resources.
Yeah, I know I'm the social media guy, so maybe I'm a little biased, but we do post some really like useful information.
We do, we do.
Okay, well, I think that was all of my questions. Thank you, Jacquie, for joining
Okay,
us.
sure. It's my
Um,
pleasure.
to our audience, again, we talked about it a little bit, but if you ever need anything help or any help with anything college related, contact an Education Quest office near you for, like Jacquie said, free help. It's free.
Yep.
Jacquie and all of our other talented college planning staff would be more than happy to help you. So you can find our contact information and make an appointment at educationquest.org. While you are there, make sure you sign up for the Countdown to College email. Like Jacquie said, it's filled with college tips and tricks. To sign up for that, again, is at the bottom of our homepage on educationquest.org. And finally, just help us get this message out to as many students and families as possible by subscribing to this podcast on your favorite platform and hitting the like button on this episode. Thank you for watching and listening, and we will see you next week.